Hey ladies and gentlemen, Casual Crono here. Verdanta recently came out. I happen to have her Stellar Awakened. And right now, Reddit, YouTube, we're all trying to figure out, is she worth pulling? The early indications are, yes, excellent damage dealer. But of course, the gold standard is Sesta, her another style form. So how do the two stack up? Yesterday I posted a video just showing Verdanta. I did a bunch of tests on test dummies with her, tried to throw in a few party members, and I remember saying, like, hey, this is kind of like Sesta, but at no point did I ever actually just literally compare the two side by side. And I was chatting with some people today who had responded in the comments, which I love chatting with you all, so please continue to comment. And one of the people I was talking with, I'm like, yeah, you're making me think now. Maybe I should just go ahead and just side by side compare them and see what they're like. Is Verdanta the next Sesta? So that is exactly what we're going to do today. Oops. Now, there's going to be some slight differences. First of all, Sesta is level 100. Verdanta is level 81. Interestingly enough, a level 100 Sesta with a chunk of the stellar board opened up has an attack power of 286. A level 81 Verdanta has 337, so right off the bat, she's stronger. 190, 180, 200, 150, so better physical defense, weaker magical defense. Luck, 220, luck, 160. Speed, 200, speed, 279, so kind of what you'd expect. Sesta, faster, luckier, more in the way of magic defense. Northern chick, stronger, more defense, slower, less lucky. So right there, kind of comparable. Sesta has more health, but she's also 19 levels higher. So take that into consideration. I bet you their health pools are about the same either way. The first, most basic, easy test is who can do more damage on the test dummy. Both characters are completely unequipped. You just saw me unequipping them. Both characters have the ability to put on an exposed. So we are going to see, let's go ahead and start with Best Girl Sesta. So we're going to see just kind of baseline who can do more damage. So Sesta's Twin Blade Wolf 2 activates a whole chain of attacks and in the process creates an exposed. You can do 4 Twin Blade Wolves basically back to back to back to back, and then she has to hop into the back row to kind of restock, or I have to Stellar Burst because you get a free Twin Blade Wolf and Wolf Heart release. So the first four turns of battle, we're just going to Twin Blade Wolf. 30,000, 80,000, some 40,000s. The final hits were 9 million each, completely unequipped. All right, Twin Blade Wolf number 2. A little bit higher because we have exposed to start with. 9 million, final 2 hits. We'll worry about the AF gauge later. We keep going. 9 million. Final 2 hits. Seeing a pattern here. Okay, final turn. I can no longer Twin Blade, so I'm just going to do a Wicked Wolf sweep. 1 million per hit. Alright, Sesta's grand total 83 million in damage, completely naked. Not bad. So, an unequipped Sesta at level 100, just doing 4 Twin Blades and then Wicked Wolf Sweep, did about 80 million in damage. So let's scroll over to second best girl.
Fine.
Maybe.
I'll show you how tough we are in the north.
Okay. Unequipped as well, and we're going to spam not her stellar skill. Blue Ice Flare. Blue Ice Flare attacks twice. As long as her hit points are above 50%, she will execute Blue Shimmer, which... oh, it's right above it. Will attack a third time, and if the enemy has a weakness, attack again for a fourth time. So, Sesta, I forget how many attacks she does in Twin Blade Wolf. There's over 4, I think. I think 7, maybe? This one will attack 4 times per turn. But unlike Twin Blade Wolf, it will take mana, so... select. There you go. Each turn will take, I guess, 60 mana. But I can do it all 5 turns. By the way, though it should have been obvious in the fight, I don't have any sidekicks either. Completely unequipped.
I will show you how we fight in the north.
Alright, since she's Stellar Awakened, the enemy automatically has exposed water for 3 turns. So for the first 3 turns, I will get 4 attacks. 2 for Blue Ice Flare, 2 for Blue Shimmer. Starting with the 4th turn, basically whenever exposed drops, then I'll only get 3 attacks per turn. Blue Ice Flares 2, and then the first attack from Blue Shimmer. If I'm interpreting everything correctly. 7, 7, 12, 12, 12, 12, 24, plus 14, that's 38 million. Sesta, I didn't count up all her previous attacks, but her last 2 were 9 million hits, almost 10 million. Okay, attack 2, 14, 14, 12, 12, so even more. Final turn with weakness. Okay, so far she's doing way more damage than Sesta. However, weakness is gone now. So a 4th Blue Ice Flare. 4 and 4. And 4. She just did 12 million. But to be fair, Sesta was doing close to 20 million plus. Alright. Now Sesta, at this point, on the final turn, had run out of Divine Wolf stacks. So she was limited to a different attack. I don't have that limitation with Verdanta. I can keep casting Blue Ice Flare until mana runs out, which, given the current values, I could do 3 more times if I wanted. The other thing to factor in is, this enemy is not fighting back. She's always above 50% health. Remember, if she drops below 50% health, she doesn't execute Blue Shimmer. So then she's limited to 2 attacks per turn. But that said, those first 2 attacks, still 4 million per hit. So she did 170 million. She doubled Sesta's damage without any gear. That is... I don't think I was really expecting it to be that big of a difference. I actually thought Sesta might still have more damage. That said, she can't keep that up forever, but I guess technically Sesta can't either. I mean, Sesta could always hop in the back row and hop back in the front row, but you still need a second person in the front row. Alright, so... And technically, she still is 19 levels below Sesta. She can do more damage as time goes on. Okay, so... Test number 1, comparing directly Sesta to Verdanta. Unequip everything and just attack with your strongest skill until you can't anymore. Verdanta wins, and she wins big. She had more than double Sesta's damage. Test number 2. 4 dummies. Still unequipped. It's one thing to be able to single target down a boss. A lot of weapon tempering fights and so forth have adds. How they compare there. Both attacks are multi-enemy attacks. It's an all-enemy slash attack times 2, and the blue shimmer link was also attacking all enemies. Alright, turn number 2.
Rest in peace.
Turn number 3. Remember, this is her without any gear at all. If I give her a single weapon, these numbers would shoot up. Alright, no more exposed. Obviously the damage is less, but still. She did 686 million damage on 4 enemies completely naked. So, I know you're thinking what I'm thinking. Let's bring back naked Sesta and see what happens. Hopefully for wholesome reasons. Alright.
Let's go break something.
Yes, let's go break something. Alright. Completely ungeared Sesta. Against 4 enemies. We'll do the same thing as before. We'll do 4 Twin Blades, followed by 1 Wicked Wolf Sweep, which does attack all enemies as well. These numbers are not nearly as high, but that's 20, 40, 60, 80 million on that final hit on all enemies. Twin Blade Wolf. Another 80 million. So 8 times 4 is 320 million, so right off the bat, that's still not close to 680. I don't think these little numbers are going to make the difference. Alright, final Twin Blade. And now, no more Divine Wolf stacks, so we're going to Wicked Wolf Sweep it. Sesta's grand total, naked, yep, 331 million. Which, yes, let's be honest, that's amazing compared to 90% of the characters in this game. If you took off all of their gear, they would not come anywhere close to that. But we just saw someone double Sesta's damage. Now, that said, Sesta has a way to continue doing Twin Blade Wolves as many times as necessary in a fight, by hopping in the back row, restoring her Divine Wolf stacks, hopping back in the front row, or her Stellar Burst gives her a free Twin Blade Wolf as well. The only way that Verdanta can keep up her damage is by attacking an enemy that is weak to water, and her weakness ends after turn 3. Next up, we're going to equip Sesta like we would in a boss fight. Elpis gear, Dryad's ring, highest power badge I have, which is a plus 50. 2 power of pains, 1 with bullseye, 1 with rose with thorns, and weak point strike. And she has her special Grasta, enhanced Fenrir proof. I guess for the sake of a fair competition, we're going to take that part off, because I can't do that for Verdanta. Now, Sesta is insanely powerful. Everyone here knows this. If you have Sesta, you've pretty much won the game. So I'm 99% sure this is going to be a one-turn test.
Get to work.
Twin Blade Wolf.
Sesta, Ogre, shout out the night.
Oh, I was wrong. I thought she would defeat Big Bag Baddy in one turn. Alright, well, we'll just keep going until Bag Baddy falls over. 2 turns. I'm guessing turn number 3 now? Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, it took 3 turns. And
Mission complete.
And it doesn't give you the grand total. So let's see that now. This might be a little quicker. Yep.
Fine. I'll show you how tough we are in the north.
Okay. Elpis, Dryads, exact same power badge. Power of Pains, Bullseye and Rose with Thorns, and Weak Point Strike. Though I was noticing there was a Power of Pain sword, and she has the Power of Agony. It means she has an extra 10 power and 10 luck. But that's okay, she's also, remember, 19 levels below Sesta. So, we're going to do the same thing. Let's see how long it takes for her to beat up a dummy.
I will show you how we fight in the north.
So Sesta took 3 turns. Same thing, Blue Ice Flare. We should see 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's less than half. Alright, turn number 2. Oh yeah, she overcrits.
Barely even a battle.
And she only did 2 of the 4 attacks that turn. So, a similarly geared Verdanta and Sesta. Verdanta broke Bag Baddy in basically 1.5 turns, and Sesta took 3 turns. And I guess that maths out, because she did basically double the damage on the previous 2 tests.
Of what we call
So
now.
if she did double damage to Bag Baddy, she should finish in half the time. Okay. So yeah, Verdanta by herself is extremely powerful. We kind of knew that from the previous tests, but I don't think I realized how much stronger she was than Sesta. However, this is a very specialized test, is that the way to say it? It's not applicable to the real world. You know, it looks great on paper, it looks great in numbers, but let's be honest, in a 10-turn fight, would this still hold up? And there's no real way to test something like that. I'm going to sidetrack and tell you a little story about Elseal. Elseal, normal style, not her AS, no. Elseal, normal style. Among her many passives, at turn start, she stacks 1 intelligence on all enemies. She has a skill, and very last one, of course. With 4 water allies in the front line, When she casts this skill, foes with 4 stacked intels gain exposed water. According to the wiki, it's a permanent exposure. Permanent. Remember that Verdanta is only effective as long as she's hitting weaknesses. This Elseal normal style, after 4 turns, can give a permanent weakness to any enemy that's not null or absorbs water. It doesn't override those. Coincidentally, Verdanta's stellar skill gives her 3 turns of exposed. So on the 4th turn, when exposed drops, guess what? Foes have 4 stacks of water, or intel. So just so you can see that, she does have the requirement that you have to have 4 water users. At least that's what the description in the skill slot says. So let's get ourselves 4 water users. I'm just going for the weakest possible water users. Still no sidekicks. So this is a demonstration of Elseal. We're just going to choose the basic attacks. Yay. Turn 1. You see the little circle. Now it has a 2. Those are the intels. And it also slows down the enemy, so that's nice. Alright, so turn 2.
Nails here.
Turn 3. This would be the last turn of exposed. If we had Verdanta on the team, and we have 3 stacks of intel. Turn 4. We've maxed out the stacks. If Elseal casts Glace Misericord, is that how that's pronounced? Looks French, I took Spanish. With 4 water allies in the front line, the water type attack buff effect and turn duration is increased, so yay, 100% water type attacks for 6 turns. And it says, foes with 4 stacked of intel gain exposed water.
Here you go.
There it is. Notice them all hitting weak points now. Permanent exposed water. Water types become weak point. Elseal, as far as I'm aware, I did a quick search on the wiki, but Elseal is the only water character that can create a permanent exposed. In fact, is the only water character that can create an exposed, which means all water attacks are now going to be weaks. Critical weak, critical weak, critical weak, critical weak. So one of the downsides that I don't want to say I discovered it because it's staring us in the face, but after the 3rd turn, Verdanta has issues doing massive amounts of damage because she's no longer hitting weak points. Until now.
Fine. I'll show you how tough we are in the north.
So this is not necessarily a Sesta test, this is just more of a mechanics, so you understand why I will probably be using Elseal in most of these. So, turn 1, exposed right at the start, and the stacks start. So we'll just do sword swing, aqua thrust, sword swing. Alright, so actually, you know what? We are going to go ahead and do blue ice flare. So we're going to see now. What was... Oh, she's equipped. Nope, we're not going to do blue ice flare. Look at how much... Wow, her sword swing is in the millions. That's crazy. Alright. They're still exposed.
Rest in peace.
Turn 3. The expose is running out. Right, turn 4. Exposed has gone away, but we have the 4 stacks of intel, which means as long as this skill goes before she attacks, everything will be fine. And look at that. Weak point attacks. Let's go ahead and finish this up then. Jeez, that's crazy.
Next on my route is...
So, what this tells me is 2 things. Verdanta, Stellar Awakened, gets 3 turns of exposed water. However, if you have a 4-star Verdanta or a 5-star but not Stellar Awakened Verdanta, which right now, I guess if you upgrade a 4-star, but you know, if you're watching this video after her banner has expired, if you pull Verdanta and you get her just to base 5 stars, not Stellar Awakened, you still don't have this ability. If you have Elseal, however, just normal style, as long as you have 4 water users in the front row, Elseal will eventually create a permanent exposed on the enemy. So starting basically from turn 4 onward, Verdanta will be at almost full strength. And the damage tests that I did, if you watched my other video, were all with blue ice flare. The only time I cast her stellar skill, Frost Blossoms, was during a burst. So you don't need the Frost Blossoms attack in order to do this massive damage. If you just have her regular 5-star, spam blue ice flare, keep her health above 50% for maximum hits, and if you have Elseal normal style in the party, because her AS style does not have that ability. She does not create an exposed with her AS style. So normal style Elseal will make Verdanta an absolute beast starting with turn number 4. So that actually would answer one common question. Should you Stellar Awaken Verdanta? If you have Elseal, I think it's very optional, to be perfectly honest. So going forward, the 2 of them, I think, are going to be a very important pair. And let's go ahead and try some more head-to-head tests. For my next test, I'm going to try comparing Sesta to Verdanta with my key farming groups. My key farming group always includes Sesta. Used to be her normal style form, and once I got her AS style and actually dared to try it, because her normal style form was just destroying everything, I found that I like the AS style a little bit better. So she is normally equipped with this gear, and thanks to Twin Blade Wolf 2 being preemptive, I basically just walk in the instance and click the attack button for every single fight, and I win. No questions asked. So I could bring along 5 level 1 people if I wanted to. So we are going to swap out Sesta for Verdanta. So I'm swapping a level 100 character with a level 81 character.
Fine. I'll show you how tough we are in the north.
Okay, that's a good quote for this particular test. I have Verdanta equipped pretty much the same way as I would equip Sesta. Elpis gear, Dryads, Pains, Weak Point, and then the highest power badge I can get. In contrast, Elpis gear, Dryads, 2 Pains, Weak Point, and she would have the 50 power badge. So really the only difference, I have the Enhanced, whatever the E stands for, Fenrir Proof, which gives a bunch of stats and health for Sesta. And Verdanta, obviously, having just gotten her, whoops, not skills, does not have any Grasta. I could, I guess, give her a Fated Star Proof for some extra points just to make it a little more fair, but in fact, yeah, that's why not. Alright. So as far as skills, she doesn't have Twin Blade Wolf, but she has Sprinting Raid. Preemptive, guaranteed critical, first returns, consumes 0 MP. So that's a great farming skill. So how easy is Entrana going to be? I just realized I don't have 360 shadow anymore. Well, shoot. I'm gonna, if I complete the dungeon, I'm going to lose 1 reward. That's a bummer. Have to tweak my team, I guess. Alright. I'm just gonna do the same thing as I always do. I don't necessarily kill all the enemies. I'm usually in too much of a rush. I go for the catnaps. I kill the horrors since they drop catnaps.
Uh-oh. Things are getting heavy.
Alright, just gonna auto attack.
That it? Rest in peace!
Oh, you know what? I need to actually set her skill. I was like, why isn't she doing it? Okay. Sprinting Raid. Preemptive.
It's over.
Alright,
That was
no
for
problem there.
everyone around the world.
Alright, now that I've used that skill, I should just be able to auto-attack. Which, if you weren't aware, up here, if you have it set to repeat, it remembers from the previous battle what the last skill was. So I use Sprinting Raid, now I can just auto-attack.
I thought we were done for.
Now apparently, those birds also have a preemptive. I don't remember the rules when you're tied, like if you have an enemy and a character with both preemptive attacks, but I would assume then the tiebreaker would be the speed skill. But I don't think her speed is super high. Alright. This one could be interesting. It has a preemptive melt.
Ugh, finally a challenge.
Alright, she went first. She killed it.
I thought we were done for.
Alright, and then the boss. Now I will say I've been running Entrana, probably at least the last 3 weeks.
Peace.
Nice. And at no point has my team ever gotten attacked. And that 2 fights ago, that bird did do a preemptive attack and hurt Akane. But the bottom line is, though, Stellar Awakened Verdanta, with the same gear as Sesta, just went through Entrana and had no issues defeating everything. That could have been something I needed. Probably not. It probably was like fragments of support or something, but could have been. You never know. Alright, and I have a bunch of those treatises. Oh, yay. And Kamlanaz is 1 shadow higher. Alright, so for farming another dungeons, I realize that Entrana is not the highest level of the dungeons, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Verdanta is pretty much comparable to Sesta. With the same gear and everything, she had no problem first turn killing all the things that I normally kill in a 2 green key dungeon. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this next part of the test isn't an apples to apples comparison, definitely an apples to oranges comparison. So I assembled a team around Verdanta. It is definitely not the best team possible. Probably not by a long shot. My personal opinions, I go to some water characters. Dunrith Alter AC has the ability to deploy Pain, and he can function as a tank. And of course, he's Stellar Awakened. I don't have him, so I can't test him. But I have a suspicion that Dunrith alters AC, another style. Dionysus? Is that? Yeah, his Dionysus form. That one, I think, would probably make for a very good tank. Elseal, I think, is a good pairing. They're sword users, they're water users. She creates an exposed, she wants an exposed. I think the two of them are going to end up to be together for a lot of fights, particularly fights that last more than 3 turns. And then you need some type of zone deployment. Aisha is a free character that can deploy a water zone, which now I'm thinking about, I think she has, fire zone selected. Aisha has a few other attacks, and it occurred to me, Aisha is a water user that can inflict poison and pain. So I could make Aisha the pain setter. It does not say irresistible. So it's possible that I might cast this and the enemy not get poison or pain. So I might have to hit this more than once. But Aisha is a water user pain setter. And then we'll do Eternal Fantasia for the last one. Gear-wise, these, as I said, I just whipped this team up in probably about 10 minutes. So this is not going to compare to my wind team at all. But Aisha is geared defensively. Verdanta, geared as such with the plus 50 power badge. Verdanta is endgame geared. This is how I would gear her for an endgame scenario. Elseal is mostly geared for endgame. And Annabelle, looks like we're missing a hit point badge. Let's give her 1500. This is some of this, like Elpis Bangle, Illusion Speed, all that kind of stuff. Some of those are a little bit trickier to get. If you're a brand new player, you won't have access to some of this. But Annabelle, one of her downsides is in an AF burst, Holy Saber is not a water type attack, so she is going to contribute nothing in an AF burst. She is there just to keep the party alive. So this team is not comparable to my Wind Super Boss team. But I want to try and use something like this for testing purposes. So don't think that I've formed the best water team in the world. I have not. I repeat, this is not an optimal water team around Verdanta. This is just what I can whip up and use to do some general comparisons. Sidekicks for both groups are Tetra and Gunts. My back row characters, Shiguri and Milla, they are sword users. Shiguri also happens to be a spicy lover, so he can hold things like Resonant Power Light, Power of Offense Water, Spicy Lover. Milla, and technically any sword user, has the Enhance of Max HPs and the Power of Rapids. We're going to do our best to keep Verdanta at full health, because the Blue Shimmer, her second 2 attacks will only trigger if she's at half health or more. So the Enhance if low HP Grasta, I'm going to be doing my best to keep her at max HP, so the Enhance at low HP Grasta is not optimal for these test purposes. So that's why I have 2 of these equipped, and then Power of Rapids Sword. This team, I noticed after I formed it, Aisha is a light character, Verdanta, light character, Elseal, light character, and Annabelle, light character. So I actually have an all-light team. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of walk through the general philosophy.
Fight with conviction.
I have not tested this. This is brand new to me too. So I'm going to be just as surprised, shocked, or disappointed as you are when I see like final numbers and all that stuff. Alright, on a boss fight, my first turn I would deploy a water zone. So that's my 3 skill for Aisha. In her case, usually I have some type of debuff. I guess technically I could stack Elemental Break with Frost Blossoms. Elseal, water type attack party members increase. And I'm going to give myself a buff Elemental Wall for some extra type resistance and regen. Turn 2, Aisha is going to attempt to put on Pain on the enemy. She also restores the party's MP just a little tiny bit. Yay. Turn 2, super buff. Turn 2, buff for the whole party for sword users, which 3 of them are. And then turn 2, more buffage on her part. And then the spammable skill, Eternal Fantasia and Water Stance will reduce the enemy's power, intellect, and speed. Blue Ice Flare we've seen is very powerful. Flare Tizona attacks 3 times, reduces slash resistance and stacks. So the more I hit Flare Tizona, the more the slash resistance goes down, which will help Blue Ice Flare damage. And technically Holy Saber damage. This one is the Rage. So I'm going to hit the burst, but I'm not trying to do as much as possible in the burst. So basically turn 3, or first turn is going to be the 3 skills, the second turn is the 2 skills, the first turn is the 1 skills. So turn 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, turn 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then turn 3 would be these types of attacks. So that's the general idea. I'm just kind of curious what kind of damage she's going to put out. No burst, very low combo rate. I didn't even look to see if I got Pain on there or not. Didn't look like it. 23 billion, sorry. And that's with a normal water zone. This team is not awakening that water zone. By contrast, my Wind Super Boss team. Gear, and for the purposes of testing, we'll give her a plus 40 power badge instead of a plus 50. She is 19 levels higher, so she's definitely made up the difference. Melody will get... I don't want to swap back and forth. It's too much trouble. Melody doesn't put out much damage anyway. Let's give her Miyaki's improvement in type resistance. And then Shiguri. Back row support, Atoa, and Tome. Same 2 sidekicks. So the sidekicks at least are the same constant. The concept here, the 3s are buffs, kind of preparing, basic attack type of thing, Pain, and enters tank mode. The 2s are more buffs or debuffs, and then the 1s attack. So the same general concept. Only this team gets the benefit of being in an awakened wind zone, and the also added benefit of being able to redeploy it. So 3, whatever, I'll probably just look at Wolf Sweep. Pain, tank mode, then the 2s, another buff, more damage, another buff, and then the 1s. Now we don't start off in an awakened wind zone, but after the first turn, starting with turn 2, we would be in one. So as I said, do not compare the total damage between these two parties on Big Bag Baddy. Instead, I'm just kind of showing you the general philosophy that I want to use. So turn 1 would be 3, 3, 3, 3. Turn 2 would be the 2s. And then turn 3 would be the 1s. And at this point, we would be in a win zone.
How's this?
The combo rate is already way higher. I'd actually be shocked if this team did less damage.
Alright, listen up. And if you're too far to hear,
Well, actually,
come in near.
yeah, he does
'Cause the Fugan
10 billion just on his own
Tiger
on the
is
final
here.
hit.
The winds
Go
may
special
blow
EX
on a
move.
wind all their own, but they all blow towards the point of my sword, and with them carry fortune as fierce as it is.
Now, in a real boss fight situation, I'm going to have to be reactive. Some of the buffs that I cast might end up getting dispelled, things like that. There might be HP stoppers, so I won't always follow that. Wait. It says 8 billion. Maybe I did just do... Wait, now I gotta check that out. There was no way this team is going to lose to that water team. Okay, we all definitely saw 8 billion right there. See, I wasn't paying attention to the water team. Okay. Gear, 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 gear. Shared Grasta, shared Grasta. Okay. Now, given I did not Twin Blade Wolf, which means I did not
I
have an
will show
expose,
you how we fight in the north.
so I wasn't using Sesta's biggest damage dealer. Alright. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, all ones. And there was further delay. I'm not clicking super fast. Because I was just kind of talking that time. I think I got 200 and something combo. So I didn't even get to 200 this time. But I was in a water zone. $28 billion. I did read that right. And last time was 23 billion. And last time's combo rate was even less. This looks promising and a little weird. Okay, I'm going to attack with Sesta's Twin Blade Wolf. Oh, whoops. I'd hope if I switch to my win team. My Wind Super Boss team is my strongest team. Period. End of story. Does Tsubame have just a regular Wind Zone? Deploy Wind King stance. What's Fierce Feline? What would I give up? That's a large buff. Winds of War. Okay. Just for this experiment. And in fact, we're going to swap those two, because this is always the first skill I use. Okay. Check. Okay. So we are going to Twin Blade. Because there's no way that ragtag wind or water team is doing more than my best team. Alright, so turn 1, Wind Zone. We'll go ahead and do one Twin Blade Wolf. Pain, and Tank Mode. Turn 2, we'll do the 2s, and we'll do Fajin Slash just so I don't have to piano and try to work in another Twin Blade. Turn 3, onward, we'll do the 1s, and I guess I'll work in a couple more Twin Blades. It almost feels like cheating, but at the same time, that is her biggest attack, and I was using Verdanta's biggest attack, so I guess it's not really cheating. Alright, turn 1, 3, 0, 3, 3. All 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, all 1s. Second Twin Blade. Now I was a little bit slow, so I'm not going to click for a second. Twin Blade. See, this does not seem fair. I should be very confident in this win team. One more Twin Blade. I'm going to stop there. Okay. That should be a little more. Okay. I will be utterly and completely shocked if this team is less than 28 billion.
But they all rode towards the point of my sword, and with them carried fortune as fierce as it is bold.
Here's your 10 billion hit. Combo rate was 700-something%. Alright, yeah, that looks a little more normal. Alright, 150. I was going to say, there was no way that water team was doing better than my wind team. And we have an awakened 99 stack wind zone and everything, so. Alright. Let me switch the skills back really quick. This one was Fierce Feline Storm, and this one is Winds of War. Alright. So, the purpose of creating this water team, here we go. I was not intending to make a team that is identical to my wind team. And I thought about trying to dumb down my wind team, but honestly, that just seemed like too much work, and I'd rather be playing Final Fantasy IX stuff right now. So the question is, can this team defeat with relative ease some of the same bosses that the wind team can? So we're not going to be testing the hardest, toughest bosses in the game. That's not really a fair comparison, because I would need two very, very end game type teams, and this little hodgepodge team is not, in my opinion, end game material. So we're going to look at some of the mid game bosses. And let me go find one now. What I'd like to do, and we'll see how many I do, I'm thinking like maybe 3 bosses. If you go to the Another Eden wiki and scroll down on the left, there's a super boss link, and it goes to the super bosses page. If you scroll down, you'll see a list of all of the bosses in the game, and it's divided into tiers. Just like the tier list, you could make an argument that some belong a tier up or a tier down or something. Me, I don't really care about that. One of the things that I did once I finally learned how to make super boss teams, I tested them, and I started at the very bottom at the tier 1 bosses, and I just went through and tried to fight and defeat each one. And once I finished a tier, I moved up to the next one. And for the most part at this point in the game, anything level 8 and below is extremely easy to me. I understand that many people, particularly a lot of newcomers to the game, are going to struggle on a lot of these bosses. And I was right there with you years ago when I was first encountering them. But I promise you it will get easier. And it's possible characters like Verdanta will trivialize a lot of these fights. So we're going to find that out. Tier 9 and then 10 and, well, Tier 9s and 10s, they're not hard for me anymore, but they're definitely harder bosses. There's to me, there's a step up in difficulty between 8 and 9, and then definitely between 9 and 10. That's where like the Uquajis are, or other bosses, things like that. And then tier 11 is kind of sort of the current tier. That's where a lot of the end game bosses are falling. We have one current boss as of December 2025, Kaputnik, who is considered a tier 12 super boss. Now, not just with my wind team, but with all of my teams, because, you know, some of these enemies are immune to wind attacks, so you can't have just one team that defeats everything. Now, that said, I can tell you of the bosses that I have access to, because there's a few I haven't accessed, but I have defeated everything level 10 and below, and of the level 11s, I have defeated at one point or another about 3/4 of them. I've been really busy the past couple of months. In fact, someone made a comment about this in my other video. I haven't fought some of the most recent bosses just because I'm busy. When I come home, I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours trying to figure out how to defeat a boss. I want to hang out with my kids and wife and then go to sleep. So, but over the summers, that's when and long vacations, that's when I catch up on a lot of these bosses. So I will defeat a lot of these eventually. And in fact, with the tier 11s, I've already defeated a good chunk of them. So I'm going to, let's go down to, all of those are probably going to be way too easy for her. Let me look at this list and pick out a few bosses that are not immune to wind or water, and we'll just see how the teams compare. So we're going to attack, I'm thinking maybe 3 super bosses. We'll decide later, depends on how much fun I'm having. But it is possible that a super boss revealed might be a spoiler, so just watch at your own risk. So that said, the first boss we're going to compare apples and oranges to is our good friend Mysterious Chaos Ogre Hard. So the skill order that we did against the test dummies, we're going to basically do against the boss now. We might have to adjust our strategies depending on what the boss does and throws at us. But in general, buff, in her case she's just going to attack, pain, and tank mode. Now the boss, if you're unfamiliar, has a 35 stack barrier that each hit removes a stack. It does a few other attacks and mana drains, fun stuff like that. We get our wind zone. This curse that destroys half of my health, that's just a mechanic for all the fights in this area. It's not just limited to him. So, turn 2. Buff, buff, we'll just attack again, and buff.
Take this.
So the boss does a knockback, kind of annoying. We'll just use turn 3 to move back into the front line. Kind of works out. He was mana drained and just restored some mana. So front line, attack. Now's a good time to use one of our twin blades. And attack. And that should chew through the barrier and bring the boss down to its 10% HP stop. There we are. So the boss gets really mad and prepares a massive attack. Years ago, that attack would have wiped out the team, but thanks to power creep, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, and it can be tanked. However, part of it also, the boss restores his barrier. So now's a good time to blow the AF gauge to chew through the barrier and destroy the boss. So we're going to hit AF and just hit all the ones. 1, 1, 1. There we go. The boss has been defeated. And we wait.
This is the power of a true shinobi!
And a fleet of cats runs up and smacks him for 500,000. Now, if that looked easy, remember, this is one of my best teams in the game. It better be easy. The question is, can Verdanta also make it look just as easy? Alright, so we're going to swap over to that hodgepodge water team, which I remind everyone yet again, in case you're just jumping to this part of the video, this is not a perfect team for Verdanta. This is probably nowhere close to a perfect team for Verdanta. We're just testing if Verdanta can make things look about as easy as Sesta can. Mysterious Chaos Ogre, hard. Alright, there's that nasty barrier. Now, I have some options. Her stellar skill, Frost Blossoms, actually pierces barriers. I could try just attacking with it and just seeing how much damage she does. So I'm going to try that. In the meantime, I'm going to do the 3s, the 2s, and then the 1s, just like before. So we're going to get a resistance going. We're going to buff up the team. And we're going to deploy a water zone.
This ends here.
Wow. Because she can barrier pierce, she just... Wow. Did I see a 2 billion in there? Okay, I'll be honest, I had a hunch it was going to be easy. I did not expect it to be that easy. Alright, Guardian, buff. We'll just do a Frost Blossoms again, because I mean it barrier pierces. We didn't even get to putting pain on the enemy, so that was a painless 2 billion hit, if that was in fact 2 billion. Yep, pain worked. So that means this should be even bigger. Almost 3 billion, if I saw that right. Looked like 2.9 billion. Okay, well, we're going to do that one more time, but without the barrier piercing. So I'm going to go restore my health. Give me some fruit. And back. Alright, so the barrier pierce is a bit of a cheat. However, it's not a huge stretch of a cheat, because if you have Sesta another style, it's not too hard for you to activate her normal style. And her normal style, that Twin Blade attack, well, I guess it doesn't show in the skills, that she is a barrier piercer as well. So, and I've used her barrier pierce in lots of videos. If you look back a year ago at some of my videos, probably this particular boss included, she barrier pierced her way to victory many, many times. So it's not really a cheat to be using barrier piercing if I'm comparing Sesta to someone else. But just for completion's sake and to give you all some idea, we're going to try this without barrier piercing. In fact, if we're not going to use barrier piercing, is there any other skill I'd want to use? I'm still kind of researching her skills, in fact, so... 3 moves of type attack against a barrier means nothing. I guess I can give myself a regen. Let's do that. Okay. Alright, the Sesta team was able to do this in 4 turns. Alright. Turn 1, we're going to go ahead and get a rage going just to make sure that she knocks out the appropriate tank. We'll go ahead and buff, regen, and deploy Water Zone. Alright, turn 2.
Stop it!
We're going to go ahead and keep attacking with Holy Saber instead of doing these buffs. Obviously, the boss is not going to do enough damage to really hurt the team, and I want to chew through the barrier. And the Wind team is actually really good at chewing through barriers. So we're going to start attacking with the multi-hit attacks to try and get the barrier down. Alright, the boss deploys a fire zone. So we are going to redeploy the water zone. We're going to move Annabelle back to the front and continue chewing through that barrier.
He's out! Follow the path of the righteous.
Alright, looks like we have 1 barrier stack left. Oh, how nice of him. He awakened my water zone. Alright, so we are on turn number 4. So if you remember, we now have 4 stacks of intel, which means Glace Misericorde, or Misericorde, will create an exposed. We'll go ahead and start some defenses. Actually, you know what? Oh, there is no more barrier. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start some defenses. We'll see if Blue Ice Flare is strong enough by itself to bring this boss down to his hit point stopper. And we're going to put pain on the boss, hopefully.
Nails here.
I do not see pain. Even without pain, she definitely brought him down to 10%. Alright. So all we're going to do is blow the AF gauge, chew through the barrier, and win. That's the goal. So it looks like this will take 1 additional turn compared to the Sesta team, but at no point have I felt in danger of dying, and it's been relatively straightforward. So, spam all 1s. Alright, boss has been defeated.
My pride will not be shattered.
So, conclusions. Case number 1 against the mysterious Chaos Ogre hard mode. Both teams did it in 5 turns or less. At no point did I feel threatened or like I was about to wipe. It was fairly straightforward. And remember that this team is not nearly as optimized or as perfect, pretty much, as the Wind team. So I think, at least against this particular boss, Verdanta seemed perfectly capable of holding her own. Her own damage without pain was massive, and actually I think it was a little bit more than Sesta's. If you think about the individual hits, obviously Sesta did way more total damage. So I was just thinking about her 2.9 billion, and Sesta in the burst was doing it in the 3.3s, 3 point somethings. So, all right, so Verdanta, Sesta, at the moment, holding their own. This might almost be an unfair comparison. You can hop on YouTube, my channel, many other people's channels, and you can see Sesta utterly obliterating the Uquajis. Now, the Uquajis have random immunities, so it is possible that when I start the fight, I have a water immune enemy. Possibly more than one, I think. If that happens, you can just force close the game, reopen it, start the fight again, and you're going to see usually different immunities and weaknesses. So we are going to see how Verdanta handles the Uquajis, a boss that we know for a fact Sesta has absolutely zero trouble with.
Proceed with caution.
Alright, are they immune? Yes, the back one is. We're going to force quit, try again.
Proceed with caution.
Alright. 3 weeks. Alright, so she has the preemptive badge. Hopefully that means she'll go before fists. So we will blue ice flare. Are any of these preemptive? Doesn't look like it. Holy Saber is, so at least we'll have rage. Alright. Blue ice flare. That would have been unheard of a year ago. No zone, no pain. All she did was attack first, and she won. As long as nothing was immune to fire. Wow, okay, well, if you have Stellar Awakened Verdanta, you will beat the Uquaji clan. No questions asked. I would try to solo it next, except I have to wait 6 hours for them to respawn. But yeah, I think she could solo the Uquaji clan. That's nuts. Okay. Well, she versus Sesta. Because Sesta, you have to do the same thing. You have to wait until they're all not immune to wind. But, alright, so Verdanta is an I win button for the Uquajis. Let's go heal up and find something else to fight. Alright, I've decided that Tier 10 super bosses aren't that challenging for Verdanta. She and Sesta are both going to be basically I win buttons. We saw the Mysterious Chaos Ogre hard, no problem. Barrier Piercing actually made it really simple. And we tried the Uquaji clan. She literally soloed it in one shot. So I was looking at some of the health pools of the other tier 10 super bosses, and they're all like less than 1 billion or around 1 billion, and we're obviously seeing her do more than that. So, we're going to kick it up a notch. This could go really well or really, really horribly. The next boss I have chosen to attempt, and let me switch windows. Seiryu, part of the Shadow of Sin and Steel mythos. It naturally resists slash, pierce, and blunt. Right at the start, it drops the another force gauge to nothing, and it will constantly deploy enhanced or awakened magic zones. And it does a whole bunch of magic attacks. And inflicts things like confusion and other stuff. Best of all, it has HP stoppers, which means right when you think you've won, haha, think again. So you have to kill it multiple times. And I have beaten this boss. I used my Xianghua team because she doesn't care about defenses and she likes magic zones. I used Xianghua and her team, and I did defeat this boss, and I remember it being annoying, but I eventually won. So, what I'm thinking, it does a bunch of magic attacks. So that means Annabelle is going to equip the skill that counters magic attacks. Its damage and critical rate is going to go up when it takes physical damage. So we're going to get to see Annabelle getting challenged. And upon taking damage, it can improve its resistance. Now given, we're going to create a weakness. So we're going to see how that plays out. And anything else? Let's see. We're not even going to bother trying to set another zone, because if we try to deploy water zone, then it's just going to destroy it and give us a magic zone. So let's just run with this. All right, let me switch back to, there we go. All right, so we have Holy Saber equipped. It's going to counterattack when hit by magic attacks and heal. And let's see. Now, the nice thing is, since it drains the AF gauge, Guntz's aura is going to be in effect immediately. So the question is, how long can we survive, and how much damage can Verdanta pump out? Well, we don't need a water zone at all. Water type attacks for 5 turns will still be buffed with that skill. I'm trying to decide if I want to bother with Creation's Prelude or not. And then Eternal Fantasia, if I'm not in a fire or water zone, is simply a single magic attack. So for the most part, Aisha is pretty worthless. So let's swap her out. In fact, let's choose a water character. Let's find someone with guaranteed pain. Oh, I know. Do I have another? Oh, not katana. Axe. Ilulu Altar. Let us equip her. Alright, so I used up 1 HP badge for Annabelle. Where's my other 2,000? This is going to be a good tanking test for her. Okay. Alright, Ilulu is geared for damage, not that she's really a damage dealer. Do I like this stuff? No, I do not. What's her hit points? 1,500? You know what? We're just going to roll with it. I'm not going to try and optimize her. It's going to take too much time. The main reason I chose her, she can inflict pain, and it's persistent. So she is going to be a guaranteed pain setter, which should improve Verdanta's damage. Her other skills, Purgatorium will reduce slash resistance, so that should be nice. And Anima Amaryllis, and it's just a water attack. So, I wonder if we even care about that. What's this? Delay to all party members? Damage barrier? Why don't we try that? That could be interesting. Okay. So I'm going to give myself a 50% damage barrier, and otherwise reduce slash resistance and pain. The other characters are the same, sidekicks the same. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm probably going to wipe, and I might give it 1 or 2 more attempts. We're just trying to compare. This is a fight that Sesta is not good in. So, by that logic, Verdanta really should not be that good either. There's the magic zone. Gauge is empty. Alright, we definitely want to apply rage and counterattack right away. So, first things first. Sure enough, the boss is weak to blue ice flare. So do I want to buff her up and attack, or should I just attack? I kinda sorta just want to attack. You know what, this is a learning experience, let's just attack. Alright, let's improve damage against weak points. And definitely pain. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Well, she just sliced up half of Seiryu's health. Alright, we definitely are going to need some more defense. I wonder if she can finish up the job. Well, she did knock out the first life. In 2 hits. 2 turns, basically. Okay, well. I think a delay would be very bad. The boss clears, so we definitely need pain. Well, let's just try another blue ice flare. See what happens. Oh, it didn't put down pain. Is it immune to pain? It's been so long. Alright.
You run little bad. How can I show my
Well, I honestly thought I would wipe pretty quickly. See, restore health. Yep, I'm back. Okay. So, what can I do to beef her up even more? Anything? I guess I could try Aegis Boon right away. It gives me critical guard. The damage would be reduced, by my calculations, about 30%. Oh, I guess we can try it. If Annabelle could survive, I am thinking of a few ways we can buff her health more. But if we can find a way to make her survive, this might actually be doable. Alright, let's try Aegis Boon right away. Let's go ahead and do a buff instead. She has General's Blaze because she's Stellar Awakened. So let's try improving the party's max health. And of course pain. Nope, that didn't work.
You run, little! Not bad.
That was worth a shot. Die! Oh, I've noticed pain's not on there. It was on the first time. Why wasn't it on the second time? Or does it... Oh, I wonder if it clears its debuffs after every turn. So here's the catch. I have to use a water tank. Elseal's Expose only works if I have 4 water users. So I can't, like, cheese it with Radius AS or Alma AS if I want to have access to the Expose later. And I also can't cheese it, like, give myself Aldo or Izuna or someone to fill back up the AF gauge because they're not water users. So I can't quite cheese it that way. I wonder if there's anything else I could do. Well, I guess the only other thing to do would be to actually wipe out its health on the first turn and force it to revive. Which, whoops. Okay. She almost survived when I used Holy Saber because I reduced the boss's power and intellect by 40%. So I guess possibly an additional reduction with another character might be a thought. Alright. Oh, I meant to equip her stellar skill. Okay, well, we'll just do this. And reduce... Let's buff up the team.
Oopsie daisy?
Yep, I'm not seeing pain.
You're the worst! Oopsie daisy?
Well, we got in a buff, so let's see how much stronger Blue Ice Flare is before we get wiped out.
Oopsie daisy?
Okay. She can chew through his health in one turn. Alright, well this is my last turn with exposed water. Definitely a lot weaker that time.
You run, little
Oh,
bad.
the boss has that stacking thing.
How can I show my face?
Okay. I actually think this might be doable. Now the question is, do I want to spend like an hour trying to figure out for this video or not? You know, that might make for a good follow-up video. Why don't we do that? Okay. So the main thing I was testing, though, was a tier 11 super boss this time. And how does she compare to the Sesta team? And I can tell you right now, she had a lot more success. At least the last time I did this fight. It's been a little while now. I actually did not do it with Shiguri ES. I wonder if he could dodge all the attacks. Well, let's find out. This is a comparison video. Alright, tank mode. Pain, if possible. We'll go ahead and just Twin Blade right away. And do we improve her power or damage? Well, let's improve her power.
Sesta's war will shout out the night. Move.
See, that's what Sesta can do with a Twin Blade. And we just saw Verdanta actually wipe out the first life. But he just survived. Alright, I'm going to deploy a Wind Zone, and it's just going to destroy it, and deploy a Magic Zone again. Alright. Attack. Buff. We'll try another Twin Blade while we can. And I guess we'll go ahead and Winds of War. Okay, this one should take out the first life. There's the Magic Zone. Alright, we're going to blow the AF gauge and cast all of the ones. And we are going to hold off on Twin Blade unless I think we can really make some damage. So, what I am doing is filling up the AF first. Oh, you know what? We're not going to be able to do anything because of that stacking issue. Alright, let's... That 9/9 stacks. That's why. It's been a while since I've done this fight. It's kind of coming back to me in pieces. Well, this isn't good. He dodges most things. So that thing has 30 stacks right now. Oh, look at that, it's null. Great. If it's null, an expose would not work.
I may perish, but the sword is eternal.
Alright, that does bring up one thing I had not realized. Let me switch. Okay. As always, praise be to the wiki. When we hit the first HP stopper, slash, pierce, and blunt damage are nullified for the rest of the fight. That's not checking out, because didn't we manage to do some damage to Seiryu after the first HP stopper when I was using Verdanta? I thought so. So the wiki said that after the first HP stopper, the boss should be null to slash attacks. But I am pretty sure she was doing damage on turn 2. And weaknesses don't normally override nulls. Unless a weakness to water overrides a null slash. That's just, well, whatever. Alright, the other thing I wanted to do was test her stellar skill, Frost Blossoms. So we'll do that. I apologize for going down this rabbit hole, but I'm taking you all with me. So, Holy Saber to hopefully survive. Let's go ahead and buff. Let's see how Frost Blossoms performs. Yeah, Sword Swing resist, but water elements with the expose are still weak. Alright, and let's... I wonder if reducing power and intellect an additional 25% would actually help her survive. Yeah. Let's just improve the party's speed for this turn.
Oopsie daisy, rest in peace.
Alright. Frost Blossom, not so good there. Just wrap it up. I feel like I'm missing something.
I still had mail to deliver.
Let's see what happens if we tweak skills a little bit. Alright, Holy Saber. It's definitely buff. Frost Blossoms. Let's reduce slash resistance.
Here you go!
2.5 billion. Alright, reducing slash resistance definitely helped. And it also says that with her stellar skill, she can wipe out an entire health bar in one hit. Alright. So he clears his debuffs, so we will Holy Saber again. I don't think buffs were destroyed. Let's just try it again then. Well, let's see. Did he dispel my buffs as well? Link flexible. Oh, looks like he might have. I should be seeing the power, int, and speed. Alright, well, let's just try all this again. Alright, defenses are still much higher. But, more importantly, we are doing damage on turn 2. Alright, blue ice flare. What are you gonna do? Wow, look at that. Of course she got melted.
Not bad.
Not bad is right.
How
Alright, so
can
I chose this boss.
show my
I'd kind of forgotten about the resistances and all that, but as I mentioned this video, I'm trying to compare Verdanta and Sesta. Sesta was able to wipe out the first health bar of that boss. Verdanta was able to wipe out the first health bar of that boss. Sesta and the rest of the team had difficulty doing anything on turn 2, the second health bar. However, with the expose, for reasons I'm still trying to wrap my head around, when the boss should have been null to slash, Verdanta was still able to do damage. So, if I could figure out a way to keep Annabelle alive, that could be really interesting. And this is not a fight that I can cheese. I can't throw in Alma or Radius because Elseal, if you remember, the whole expose issue. Where's your skill? In order to gain exposed water, I have to have 4 water allies. Alma is not water. Radius AS, not water. Pry, not water. So I'd have to find a water tank. And definitely Annabelle is the best water tank that I'm aware of right now. I guess I could resort back to Dunnerith Altar somehow, but I'm pretty sure he would get melted pretty quickly too. Though he does have critical guard. Yeah. Yeah, let's just try it. We'll do one more. So the bottom line though, comparing the two, both were able to knock out a health bar in one turn, and Verdanta, not Sesta, was able to continue doing damage. He is so going to get destroyed. Alright, so first turn, I pretty much have to do Rage. So that is this. Uh-oh, this is not going to be pretty. But at least we can't say that we didn't try. So yeah, I went into this boss not really expecting to win, but I wanted to see if the two damage dealers were comparable, and based on what I'm seeing, Verdanta might be able to pull off more things than Sesta, which doesn't make sense because Sesta is also putting an exposed on, so, and they're both slash users. I don't know, maybe one of you all that understands this boss a little more can tell me what's going on. Alright. Rage. Buff. Slash resistance. Stellar. First life down.
Oh yeah!
There's the rage. Alright, still says weak, not null. So we'll just see if we can do more damage again. Well, let's do another buff. Let's see. We got rage on there. I guess let's try a shield. Why not? That'll work, right? And let's do a slash resistance again. They're still doing damage. She's not doing nearly as much. Yeah, I didn't think Dunnerith would have a chance.
I still
Maybe
had
Dunnerith
mail
Alter AC.
to deliver.
Probably some characters I don't have might be the key to this. So test number 2 against Seiryu. Seiryu? However he pronounces his name. Verdanta and Sesta were both comparable. Verdanta was able to continue doing damage. If I could figure out a way to keep the water team alive, it is, and not just the whole team, like I have to keep Elseal alive to create that expose later. And then I have to hope that the expose doesn't get removed upon a life point. But I guess technically Verdanta's expose did not get removed, so I guess there's really no reason why Elseal's would. So yeah, there's probably some key to get Verdanta to actually win that fight, but I'm not going to spin forever on it. So test 2, both characters are performing about the same. Verdanta possibly a little bit better. So continuing on my quest to compare Verdanta to Sesta. Up until now, she's been doing about the same level of damage. She's been wiping out health points at the same pace that Sesta has been, so they seem pretty similar. But I have been fighting super bosses, aside from Seiryu, that are kind of easy-ish at this point in my game. I realize that they're not easy for everyone. So I thought I would try one that I've defeated with Sesta that I guess benefits a slash team. And when I was looking through the super bosses, I ran across the white tiger Byakko. He has a health point. He has an HP stopper. He slowly drains my AF gauge. He has, I believe, over 3 billion in health. I do have a video of normal Sesta defeating him a long time ago. And obviously the AS Sesta form would probably have an easier time. So what I wanted to do was use this team with Felmina to see if it's comparable. So we are going to Holy Saber to reduce power. We are going to increase damage against weak points. Verdanta is just going to use her blue Ice Flare. And we are going to Torrent to reduce power, because this guy, he is pretty strong. While Annabelle is an excellent tank, I don't know if she can survive some of his hits. So we need to reduce as much of his power as possible. Alright, blue Ice Flare. I saw it hit 2 billion plus in damage. Alright, she survived that hit. But I think he gets stronger as the fight goes on. Alright, turn 2. So he drains the AF gauge. He clears his debuffs, so I'm going to redo Holy Saber and Torrent to reduce power. I'm going to go ahead and do Blue Ice Flare again, because that's what we're practicing. And I think he clears buffs too, so... yeah. The things... yeah, I don't see the water type attack damage for 3 turns in there, so we're going to go ahead and recast this one as well. The thought process, if she was doing 2 billion in damage before with these skills, shouldn't she do it again? Or close to it? I know he kind of self-buffs a little bit. Let's see. Yep. Alright. So that knocked out his life point. And now, even with the drop, we should have an AF gauge to work with. So we are going to blow the AF gauge. And go ahead and get in Holy Saber. We might as well just keep doing what we've been doing, which is this one. Blue Ice Flare and Torrent. So we're going to do 3. We're going to do Torrent. 3, 1, 3, 1. And then probably from that point forward, all 1s. I might try to work in a Mare Vexillum. But even the Laertizona, it reduces slash resistance, so 3, 1, 3, 1, and then all 1s, maybe work in a Mare Vexillum. 3, 1, 3, 1, all 1s. Mare Vexillum. Alright. And his health pool is down again. I honestly can't remember if he has another life point or not. It's been a while. Okay, apparently not. So that was what, a 3 turn kill. And the White Tiger, according to the Super Boss list, which I have up here off screen, is a tier 11 boss. Lower tier 11, but tier 11 nonetheless. Defeated in 3 turns with definitely a suboptimal water team. But on the flip side, let me bring up... I wonder if I could switch over. Yeah, let me try that. Alright, window capture. Cool, I'm looking at my own YouTube page, yay. Alright, if I go to Super Boss and Stella videos and scroll down a ways, 9 months ago, White Tiger, Byakko. You all, I have to watch an ad, you all have to watch an ad. I can't believe I have to see ads on my own YouTube channel. I mean, I made these videos, why do I have to wait to watch them? Hi, Reba. Give me the skip button. Thanks. Hey guys, Casual Crono. Alright. Is this actually showing? It looks like it. It's a little bit big on my window, but that's okay. All you have to do. Alright, I'm going to pause. So the team that I beat it with, Sesta normal style, Melody AS, Yifa AS, and Shani Alter. And by complete coincidence, you can see that Sesta must have been doing 1 billion damage per hit. Drained his health. Does this show? Let me double check. Well, I can see most of it. Can I see the damage numbers? There's some damage numbers. I haven't tried this before. Oh yeah, I can see them. Cool. Okay. Going back. And if I watch this video, I can see that I basically did the same thing. Once I got to the point where I had an AF gauge, Twin Blade again, I burst and tried to bring him down. Or it looks like I didn't add and Toad Stream it now. Okay, looks like I didn't quite have enough for an AF burst. Here appears now. Oh, look at that. Turn 6. You see that up there? So it took me 6 turns at least, and I was still fighting him, and I was struggling a little bit, it looks like. Fated Love is about to disappear, so we'll Fated Love... Not struggling to the point where I was getting wiped out, but let's skip ahead to the end of the video. So a few times. Treat it like no down bar. Plan. Alright. Watching for Twin Blade. There we go. Boss looks like it's out of health. Alright, Sesta was doing decent damage, but not nearly as much. Yep, there we go. Cool. Alright, let me switch back to my team now. Alright, I am back on blue stacks. It is a repeatable fight, so let's see how easy it is with super beefed up wind team. Everything geared appropriately. Whoops, not quite. Let's... Oh, what was she equipped with? Alright, and Shiguri equipped. Grasta. Alright. Now Shani Alter is a pretty beefy tank. Shiguri has to rely on dodging. And this guy's pretty fast, so I'm not sure how often he is going to dodge. So we're going to cease, we're going to reduce power and provide a damage barrier. We'll go ahead and blow a Twin Blade right now. And I guess we'll just... I don't know if it really matters, because he's going to clear my debuffs anyway.
Shout out the night.
And Sesta does 2 billion.
Take this.
I wonder when he clears debuffs if he clears the tank mode. That'd be a good question. She actually breaks the zone, but I guess she was doing that in my previous video too. Let's see. Looks like he is in Vajra bet played, so... Alright, bolstering Kai. Magical Smash. This apparently Pain... Oh, Pain is on there. Alright. Full Twin Blade a second time. And... Did clearing the zone prevent... Turns left 6. Good. Okay. Winds of War then would be next. Actually, I probably should just Enjaku and try to get that AF gauge higher. Oh well. We'll see what Sesta can do. Alright, she will definitely clear the first. She did hits for 3 billion. He destroyed my wind zone. Alright, now with the water team, I was able to blow the AF gauge here on this turn, but it's going to drain some. So it looks like I have to wait. Alright, let's take a look. Still in Vajra mode. Alright, still have buffs. Alright, so let's Sorai. Let's do a Depravity and reduce some damage. Actually, let's be safe and reduce power and stuff as well. We'll try another Twin Blade. That'll be Twin Blade number 3 and Jaku. Alright, can she do it? No, that's a lot of damage, but she's gonna be fine. Alright, so comparable. I think that was both 3 turns. But keep in mind that this is a very highly specialized and very powerful team. This is something I threw together in 10 minutes. And it is still relatively comparable with results. Alright, conclusion time. The whole purpose of this video was to try and make relatively direct comparison between Verdanta and Sesta. I tried to gear them similarly. Elpis Dryads, Pains and Weak Point. Elpis Dryads, Pains and Weak Point. And I fought several bosses, and they were able to defeat them in a similar number of turns. You saw that Verdanta has the Barrier Piercing Stellar skill. Frost Blossoms, so she can barrier pierce and do massive damage, and that's something that Sesta AS can't do. If you have Sesta normal style, you do have a barrier piercer. If you have just Sesta AS, you don't. So that's one difference. The damage levels looked comparable. Now with Sesta, she is part of a very, very strong wind team. That last fight that you saw that used it, like, kind of showcased how strong it is. And this team is a very advanced team. Is it the best possible wind team? No, I'm not claiming that at all. Nikoko ES and a few others probably can make this team even better. But it does handle stuff very well. I've been able to pull multiple hundreds of billions of damage on the test dummy with this team. The fights that you saw with Verdanta today were with water teams that I threw together in about 10 minutes without giving it too much thought. And she was still doing comparable damage to Sesta. That means those of you out there that really understand characters, how they interact with each other, you all can probably make some really powerful teams featuring Verdanta. The biggest key, of course, is that Verdanta has to be hitting weaknesses. On a water team, there is only one character in the game currently that can create permanent weaknesses. And that is Elseal normal style. As you saw in this video, she stacks intels. Once she gets 4 stacks, if you need an expose, you just cast Glace Misericord. And boom, it's exposed for the rest of the fight. If it gets dispelled somehow, you know, like sometimes after a revive they clear everything. If it gets dispelled, you just have to wait around, get 4 more stacks, cast Glace Misericord, and boom, the exposed is back. I did test that off screen. So you can get an exposed more than once per fight if you need to. And right now, Elseal normal style is the only one that can do that. Even her AS style, she doesn't do that. So currently, I think she would be a very valuable partner for Verdanta. After that, I really couldn't tell you. I'd have to spend a lot of extra time, and the Final Fantasy IX collab is waiting. It is almost 10 o'clock at night, and I still haven't started playing it, and I really want to start playing it. I just know that with the banner up right now, a lot of people are really on the fence. Do I use the precious stones that I have to pull, or do I spend money to pull? And the biggest question right now is she basically a water Sesta? Based on the video I made yesterday that I posted, many of you have watched it, thank you, and based on the stuff that I've done today, even though it's not a true 100% comparison, it's looking pretty close. Verdanta is pumping out the same levels of damage. She is able to barrier pierce, so that's something that Sesta can't do. And I think once we figure out what the best meta team is for her, she might overpower Sesta. It might come down to like combo rates and AF bursts and stuff, but I kind of hate to say it because I really don't want to say it and then kind of be wrong about it, because I've only been playing with this character for 1 day. It's not like I'm a master and know this person inside out, so I guess take my opinion for a grain of salt. But every single thing that I've done so far is comparable to Sesta. I don't know if she's going to end up being like triple S tier, top of the tier charts level Sesta, because Sesta and Alma are in a class to themselves right now. Verdanta is probably, if she's not in that class, she's going to have to be in the class right below it. And that is for someone wiser than me to decide, because it's not my tier list. So, yeah, if you're on the fence, if you already have Sesta and a developed wind team, I'm not sure if pulling her and forming a water team right now is going to be any more beneficial, except for any bosses that are immune to wind. But as the developers release more water characters, it wouldn't surprise me if she will outshine Sesta at some point in the future. And yeah, I realize that's hard to do, but she has the potential. It's just a matter of, can we form a good cast around her? And before I ramble too long, just as one example, we all know that Sesta is amazing. If you watch my video,
You need me.
how to build
really
a wind
need me?
team, I posted it just a few months ago. When I had Tsubame, Sesta, Melody, and Shani alter, they were pumping out ridiculous amounts of damage. They were able to do over 100,000 easy in an AF burst. And all it took, it wasn't Sesta at all, it was my tank. When I swapped out Shani for alter,
Going out for a stroll?
not alter, for Shigure ES, the buffs that he brought, the party buffs, skyrocketed Sesta's damage to another level. So by swapping the tank, I made Sesta even more powerful, to the point where she's beyond bonkers. So my thought process, because right now, the tests that you saw, do I still have the filter on? Yes, I do. The tests that you saw included a tank that provided absolutely nothing to the party other than redirecting all the damage to her and keeping the rest of the party alive, which is kind of a tank's job anyway. So Annabelle, as awesome of a tank as she is, she's not making the party any better. She's just keeping them alive, doing what a tank does. And then for my fourth character, I really kind of struggled, as you saw. I used Alter Lulu a little bit. I used Felmina ES a little bit. I even played around with Aisha a little bit in her water zone. Tank-wise, Dunnerith Alter AS, whom I don't have on paper, looks like he could be a potentially useful tank. So if you have him, and if you have Elseal, that would make me really, really heavily consider pulling on Verdanta's banner a little bit more, if I haven't already. If I don't have Annabelle, if I don't have Elseal, if I don't have many water characters at all, it might be nice to future-proof yourself by getting Verdanta now while the getting's kind of sort of good. But she may or may not make the immediate impact that she otherwise could. So, bottom line, you all know what characters you have access to. You know if you already have strong characters, and you know how easy or hard it is for you to gain stones. If you ask me, is Verdanta comparable to Sesta? I think at this point I actually have to say yes. If you ask, is she 100% pull? I'm always going to say no. I'm going to say, look at what you do have. Can you really, make her better? Especially if you do not have Elseal. Let's go back to her. If you don't have her at all, after 3 turns, Verdanta is going to be weaker. It'd be kind of like the equivalent of Sesta using up her Divine Wolf stacks and then not having any way to get them back. So factor that in. Elseal currently is probably the biggest reason to keep pulling or not to keep pulling. If you have a 4-star version of Elseal, go ahead, farm up those tomes and get her to 5 stars. If you have Verdanta, you will not regret it. So that is my opinion. I think she is comparable to Sesta. I think she needs a good support cast, but technically, so does Sesta. So, if she doesn't make it to the top tier, she is definitely going to be the tier below. I can't possibly see her not being used, at least in the immediate future. So, I hope this video helps and gives you some decision. I really hope if you do decide to pull because of this video, you don't waste your stones. I really hope you do get her. Please don't hate me if you pull and still don't get her. I mean, you do have to factor that in. Her banner right now, the free one anyway, as I always like to say, you have a 98% chance of getting disappointed with each pull. So the odds are not in your favor. So don't rush off and blow all of your stones because, oh, Crono told me to. Factor in everything I've said. But if you are lucky enough to get her, I think she's worth Stellar Awakening. So if you have all Cosmos star charts, if you get her only as a 4-star, I really think she would be worthwhile to go ahead and spend 3 months worth of all Cosmos star charts to get her to Stellar Awakening. If you have Elseal already, you might be able to get away with not Stellar Awakening her. The main reason you want her Stellar Awakened is because right away, starting turn number 1, you have exposed water. And that is the main reason. Like, you saw really how little I used her actual stellar skill, Frost Blossoms. Most of the time, I was just using Blue Ice Flare over and over and over again, and that did the job. The reason she was so powerful was because she was hitting a water weakness. If you have Elseal, normal style, or have a way to get her up to 5 stars. Technically, I don't think she even needs 5 stars. She could be a 4-star, but okay. You're going to want to get her to 5 stars. If you have Elseal, it may not be quite as important to Stellar Awaken Verdanta. If you don't have Elseal, Stellar Awakening is a must. There's no other way to get exposed. As far as I know. There might be some obscure character that can do it, but when I searched the wiki, Elseal is the only water character that was popping up. So, and I didn't really look for any exposed slash characters. I'm not even sure if there are any. So that is my general conclusion that I've probably rambled way too long about. If you have Elseal, Stellar Awakening is optional. If you don't have Elseal, Stellar Awakening is probably mandatory. And then, should you pull, if you have strong other DPS characters and you're not having any trouble with super bosses, obviously she's optional. If you want to future-proof yourself, if you want to improve your water team, she will definitely do that for you. So, take what I've said, think about it, make your own decisions, make smart decisions. I really do wish you luck if you do decide to pull. So, I hope this video helps. Casual Crono, signing out.